Welcome back. Okay, now we're going to put the paupiettes together. I'm going to demonstrate how to do that. You can see that I've got my chopping board, which has all been cleaned down. I've laid out some cling film and I've laid my long and short fillet together. Now I've put the tail together, so that's when that cooks, that will come together. But we can see I've got a difference here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take half of this off and put this to the same length. So it's just a question of cutting that beautiful long fillet. Seems almost sacrilege to do it, but we need to do this to make an even top. And what we're going to do, we're going to take the mousseline which we prepared and we're going to smear that. You don't need to go right to the edges, it will naturally form to the edges as we roll it because it will squeeze out. So if we put it up the centre, and there is a reason why I'm doing this on the cling film. We are now using 1, 2, 3 pieces of fish together. The more we move it, the more chance there is of it coming apart. So I want to handle it as little as possible. There we go. So I'll put a nice amount in there. As you can see, now starting from the tail end, again these have been placed on the cling film upside down. So the presentation side when we roll it will be on the outside. That's very important. That goes to show the skill, the craft and the time that the chef has taken to do this. So starting from the tail, and I'm not putting any pressure, I'm not squeezing down at all. I'm rolling that, remembering that there's 2 fillets here, 1, 2, so I'm keeping it together and rolling it the same way to form my paupiette. I'm then going to roll the cling film back on itself to keep the tension of that paupiette together. So now when I lift it, I'm lifting it as one. It's wrapped, so that shouldn't come apart too much. Now I'm now going to torsion this slightly. So to torsion, which means I'm going to roll it to get the cling film to stay tight on this, because I'm going to poach this a little later on. One common mistake that chefs make is they get a hold of either end and they start rolling it on the board. Now what that does is you seal the ends and the air that's in here gets trapped in here, and what will happen is you will not get the tension on the paupiette where you need it. So nip the cling film at either end of the paupiette, then squeeze the air out. Again, nip, squeeze the air out. What you can then do is torsion this on your board like so. And tie a knot in either end. Now, little hint, don't just tie that knot. When it's coming to the knot stage, push the knot in towards the paupiette. That way, that knot is right on the end. It's no good your knot being up here, because in the cooking process, this will try to expand, and if all this is free, it will expand, and your paupiette will almost explode. Same for this side. Torsion it right down, form your knot, like so, then push it in towards the paupiette. It takes some skill to do this, but you will see once you've done it a few times, that's all done. Now, there is a temptation, because we are chefs and we like things to be neat, to now take the scissors and cut this off and cut this off. Little hint, leave them on. They're not doing any harm. When they're in the pan of boiling water, It's something you can pick it out with. Okay, it's not doing any harm. Fold it over if you need to one side. I'll quickly do that again with the other 2 fillets that I have. So again, lie them upside down. Presentation side is on the bottom. Smaller fillet. Put the tails together. I've got an obvious shortage here, so I'm going to take a little of this. I'm going to cut it halfway. And that should give me, you have to remember you still want your presentation side on the outside, so that should give me a little bit of a better balance there. Okay, make sure that's together. I'll put my mousse in there, not too thick. You do want it all the way down. The idea is when this is cooked, you get that Swiss roll appearance. Then from the tail, each side together, I'm going to roll it without applying too much pressure. It'll exert its own pressure as it's rolling. Take the cling, lie it over, gently keeping that cling film tight. Roll that down. Okay, now for the torsioning. So nip and extract the air. Nip, extract the air. Torsion up. Make your knot to the edge. Likewise, right to the edge, so that's nice and tight. Now, I'm not saying that you can now throw these around the kitchen, but they are manageable to be handled. These are going to poach very quickly. What will happen when these poach, because the place fillet does not take long to cook. We've rolled it in on itself, so it's going to take a little longer than a flat fillet would take, obviously. I would estimate these are going to take 10 to 12 minutes in boiling water because of the size of them. We will, obviously I'll gauge that, and I will know because of the texture once they're cooked. This will go a lovely white colour when it's cooked. But we'll see that later on when we come to cook this off. The next thing we're going to do will be the cassoulet, which will be in a separate video to follow. I'll speak to you soon.